trained to be an entrepreneur. But you are already now fashioning yourself on writing a CV. In fact, I would be happy if none of you here engage in any business of writing a CV. You will be in a business of writing business proposals and plans. Economies across the world, including the US, including Sweden, including China, those economies have now one of the highest per capita billionaires in the world. They didn't become billionaires by working in other people's farms. They became so, first of all, by creating their own companies, employing themselves first, creating opportunities for others, and in doing that, also impacting their own economies. And when you impact your own economy upwards, what then happens is that your own business also is catapulted upwards. Anyone doing business in Kenya, let's say manufacturing of paint, and anyone manufacturing paint in China, the one in China has customers with higher purchasing power than the one in Kenya. Because when the economy of China gets transformed, even your own business gets transformed. And therefore, I'm calling you here today, requesting that please don't go through the years at Kenswood with all the facilitation there is to shape you as an entrepreneur, for you to also join in into the many people who are looking for jobs. Be on the other side of the spectrum, people who are creating those opportunities for themselves and others. Last 2 points. One of you here asked me to kipanda hapa. What motivates you? One, like many of you here, you share our stories. Our first obligation when I was coming out of Gadukenya village was to run away from poverty with the highest possible speed. Run away from poverty with the highest possible speed. I am sure many of you here share that. That one of the great motivations you should have is that you can't come out of here and your institution of learning and you go back to the same kind of families we came from. We want to go back to better places. Not the madhouse, but a more comfortable house. We want to upgrade the lifestyles of ourselves and our parents and the people around us. So that's one motivation. That my father was a carpenter in Kiadutu slums in Thika. Nilikuwa natembelea my father. Nikiwa ndani ya nyumba, I could see everything that is happening outside. Na sio kioo ya nyumba. Ni ventilation, natural ventilations. Mianya ilikuwa kwa hiyo nyumba. So, that was one. After you now move higher a little bit, your dream must change now, because you've already almost sure you are running away from poverty and you have put up good buffer. You must go to impact. As you do this and the other thing, looking at impact. Impact you are creating for others, like what Isaac is doing here today. He had enough money to live a comfortable life here in Kenya and elsewhere, but he's carrying the burden for all of us here. We must also replicate that in our areas. And here at Kenswood, very lastly, I think I'm having very many lasts. This should be the very last. There is something that is very motivating from your principal and from Isaac. That you already have a program at Kenswood to grant students and learners here with seed capital for their ideas and businesses. I have not seen anything of such a nature happening anywhere else in Kenya. Listen to me. Do you know Facebook, all of you here? Let me see by a show of hands. You know Facebook? How many other tech companies do you know? Do you know Apple? Ile ya SYMO. And all the others. Many are from the US. Now, Stanford University back then, let's say 50 or 60 years ago, Stanford University allocated part of the university land to startups, companies that ideas that wanted to transform themselves into companies. Many of the US companies you know are either from Stanford graduates or from Stanford dropouts. And of course, now that went on to other universities like Harvard and the rest. Because the university consciously created a place for people to nurture their business ideas. Instead of having a hall where people could be trained on how to write very good CVs, they did the other way around. Instead of calling people to talk to students on writing a very good appearing CVs, they allocated land, they allocated resources, so that the ideas of the students at Stanford and the neighboring areas would become owners of big companies. And the US tech revolution, the one that we know today, is an intersection of three things, which you are all beneficiaries of. One was a sponsorship program, which was called STEM in the US back then, where the US would go around the world and they could sponsor very high people with high IQ and good performance in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They could actually get visas and entry to US Ivy League universities. That's one. The second thing is funding from Wall Street and other areas. Funding. Yes, you have an idea. You are well grounded in STEM, so you are a bright person. So, on the other side, there is now funding. Wall Street ni kama area ya mabanks na pesa, US. But the other intersection is actually Stanford University itself as an institution, where you have a university feeding into in terms of knowledge, and then there is an immigration policy of getting people who are gifted in STEM, but on the other side, there is another intersection of capital. You are at Kenswed already. This is already your Stanford University. You have funding being arranged by the school itself. What more do you need? There is no other Kenyan with the kind of opportunity you have, because Wall Street has gotten you here. You're already at Stanford, and through the program that Stanford runs is already the STEM kind of a program where they are fetching students from every villages in Kenya to come here at Kenswed. That for all the 47 counties in Kenya are represented in this institution. There is no other place with that kind of an advantage. And that is why you see even the US as an economy is built actually by immigrants out of that kind of initiatives. If you look even at the current CEOs of big companies in the US, the current CEO of Microsoft is actually Indian. Went to the US when he was already an adult. The current CEO of Alphabet, what we call Google, is also an Indian. Founders of big corporations, like even the richest person in the world, people say he is American. He is South African, actually, with mother from Canada. The father was the one from the US. The same person is also invented a company like PayPal. Look at a person like the founder of Apple, the one who is known as Steve Jobs. The father was actually from Syria. So he's Syrian. From Syria, the father. So what I'm trying to say is that the advantages those people got in the US has been brought to you here at Kenswed. And here, therefore, I'm talking to future billionaires, not millionaires. And if you don't believe that, today after this meeting, go to Isaac, our director, tell him, please get another person for my slot at Kenswet. Because here we must nurture billionaires. Is there anyone with that? So even as you seek to become a doctor, if you want to become a tech person, your end goal must be creating a company, and a company that has already the very good environment with our founders, with our partners, who can make these companies become something in the future. And the more the reason, the government now and the government in the future, all the time, we must always know that the youth of this country, the youth, is both the foundation and the future of our economy. And for us to always constantly know, the government all the time must constantly invest in education. And we must never see the kind of circus we keep seeing. There is free basic education, there is no free basic education. There are things that Kenya must be ahead of. We must also give STEM, science, technology, engineering, and the mathematics. We must give it a correct base and a strong base in our institutions of higher learning and also in our basic education. Because the current economy of the world is based on manufacturing, which is high-tech, but also on tech. Two things. Not just manufacturing of value addition, but a higher grade of manufacturing, which you can only do when there is enough investment from the base. And also, we must avoid starting programs, then we backtrack. For example, in Kenya, we have been having a program of having aggregation centers and industrial centers. But they just come as a single thought from a person. Then in 2 years' time, the focus has changed. So we keep on investing government money in areas which become white elephant. So we must keep on focusing on specific programs which are focusing on specific output and carry through up to the end. So that we keep on investing government money in areas that we can see output, but also in areas that pull the economy from all sides in one direction, which direction is progress, which direction is to move forward, not backwards. Otherwise, nimefurahi sana kuwa hapa Kenswet. That we are Kenyan, but also we are friends of Sweden. And that is what our name is. And we can continue to collaborate, of course, through the help of our partners, because this is a very, very, very great initiative. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And please, after today, in your box, which you open every day, I want you to write a karatasi and stamp it hapa unafungua box unaona every day. Write the things you want to achieve in the next 20 years. The next 20 years, you'll be studying where we are studying. So you must write the things you want to achieve. You must write the title you want to have. Yes, Mr. and Miss and the rest, but there is that title. You can write a billionaire, you can write whatever you want to write, but have a title where you are moving towards. Are we together? And you must seek from today that your parents and your guardians have done so much for you to be where you are today. You must, from today, give yourself a name and a goal that you'll never embarrass them. That whatever you are doing here, before you do something, always flash back your mind and see your parent and see your guardian. And if they are looking at you, ask yourself always whether you'd proceed to do that which you want to do. So that we also guard ourselves from areas that are slippery, that could take away the dreams that we are pursuing here. Otherwise, I thank you. I wish you God's blessings, and may you achieve all your dreams. And your principal asked many things. We'll be talking to your principal to see where we can support. He talked about computers. He talked about change of menu, even if it's through day. So hiyo ya computer tutaongea na Isaac na John. Lakini hiyo ya naona hii ya menu tusiairishe. Ifanyike saa hii. Mutajipanga what to do Mimi nitawacha kitu kidogo hapa. Where is your principal? No, huyu president. Huyu amewatetea sana. Amewatetea, ameuliza everything. So we'll do what we can't postpone, but the rest I'm sure we'll talk with your. So hii utachange menu kiasi. Asanteni sana.